What is up, everybody? I am Cam Jennings from EpicConversions.com, and I want to welcome you to another episode of The Mighty Few. If you're keeping score out there, this is Season 3, Episode 9. This is the penultimate episode of Season 3. And what are we getting into today? Man, today I want to talk to you about something kind of controversial. I want to talk to you about why I ignore data half the time. And that's so funny, right? Because we live in a it's funny. We live in a data hungry world. We really do. Everyone wants the data. And yet we have data coming out our ears, right? It has never been easier to acquire so much data. I mean, data is everywhere. Now, insight and wisdom as it relates to that data is maybe not quite as easy to come by. Now me, am I a fan of data? Yeah, I like to know what's happening with the data. Okay, I will tell you that. So to me, the reason why I like data is because I hate the crossroads. That's why I like the data. What do I mean by crossroads? I mean that, sometimes in my business, oftentimes, I will find myself at this place where I'm not quite sure which way to go. Whether that be a product that I want to create, whether that be something I want to promote, whether that be how I want to acquire leads. No matter what it is in my business, sometimes I'll find myself at that dreaded crossroads where I don't know which way to go. And I'm a little unsure. I could go this way. 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 And, I have a tendency to overcomplicate things sometimes. I will come up with about 50 different solutions for what I want to do. And the options will start to feel endless. And I will be at this crossroads and I don't know which one I want to pursue. And that is where data can be helpful. It can help me. I look at the data and the data will indicate which direction I should go. It could be something as simple as I'm running an email promotion and I notice, because I've been tracking every link and every email, I'll notice what's resonating with people, what people are clicking on more. What are people clicking on more? Oh, people clicked on my hard promo email a little bit more. Okay, they must prefer hard promo angles. Okay, that's one way to look at it, and maybe that'll give you a path to proceed, right? So that's why I do like data. It helps you to be more decisive. Now, why do I ignore it half the time? Well, because the way I look at making decisions in my business is that there's two factors, and one of them is data. Yes, one of them is data, and it matters. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. But the other factor is my gut, right? The other factor is my gut. How do I feel about this particular decision? How do I feel about this particular project? How do I feel about this particular business, right? How do I feel about it, right? And gut is a tricky thing because gut can be kind of intangible. Like, how do I feel in my gut about it is what I mean, right? What is my heart telling me, right? And that can be a little intangible and hard to describe. And sometimes, like, I move with my heart and with my gut, and people don't quite understand it. When I closed down Adventures on the River all those years ago, I was moving with my gut. And a lot of people told me I was crazy. When I started my online business, I had just been offered a really, really nice paying job from NCR. That's the National Cash Register Company, if you don't know what that is. And my dad at the time told me he thought I was crazy for turning that job down and continuing to run my business because I had already started my business. It was already making me money, but that was a really nice paying job and it was very secure. He thought I was crazy for turning that down. But logistically, he had a good point. There's not like job security, so to speak, and me running a business, whereas like NCR is this, very, very old brand that's been around for a long time. So it feels like there's a lot of job security and, logistically it made more sense. So in that respect, he was right. But my gut superseded the data, right? My gut superseded the data in that position, and that particular instance. And, what I find is these two factors, the data and the gut, right? They don't supersede each other ever. They both are on equal footing for me. I'll give you a couple of examples, okay? And then I'll explain to you why the gut cannot be, underappreciated. A lot of people do. A lot of people, they underestimate the gut, right? They ignore the gut. They look at the data, they look at the logic, and they just roll with that, right? And they ignore the gut. I don't ignore the gut, and I'll tell you why. But let me give you a couple of examples for context when it comes to this. Again, if you're just now tuning in to this, I'm talking about why I ignore data half the time. Not all the time, but half the time I ignore data, right? Let me give you a couple examples, and then I'll explain to you why the gut matters so much. Okay, so I run this club right now. It's one of my membership clubs. It's called the Newsletter Club. And what the Newsletter Club is every single month I release an email package. Usually it's 14 emails. Usually it's about 10,000 words. And that email package is going to be about a particular subject, right? Maybe it'll be about membership clubs this month. Maybe it'll be about list building the following month. Maybe it'll be about brand building. Maybe it'll be about audience. It'll be about a particular subject, usually centered around online business every single month. And that newsletter, like for example, the last one I just put out, it was all about affiliate marketing, right? That's what it was all about. Now these are human written. I write the emails, and I've been doing email marketing for a long time, so I know what works, and I know what doesn't, right? So these are human written emails, and they come with a PLR license, right? So the people in my newsletter club, they've signed up for these newsletters that they have a license to use. It's content they have a license to use. It's a very, very laxed PLR license too, so they can use it in a lot of different ways. Now, you want to know about data? Well, so the data is mixing things up for me, right? And I'll tell you why. This is a $47 a month club, okay? And the data tells me, when I look at data, what it tells me is that the PLR industry is in decline. Like, it doesn't make sense why it would not be in decline. And the reason why is because of AI. People can use AI to write their stuff for them now. There's no reason for people to license content from other people when they can just have AI create the content for them, especially email content, right? Email content especially. Now, maybe if you were licensing, audio content, or maybe if you were licensing video content, maybe it would be a little bit different. But email content, most people can have AI create their emails for them. So why would people need to license email content from someone like me, right? So that's what the data tells me, right? However, when I talk to my email list, all of my customers, and I say, hey, I have a lot of arms in the fire. I'm thinking about maybe, closing a few things down and streamlining operations a little bit because I'm really spread thin on everything that I'm doing. And what I got unanimously from multiple people was, please don't close the newsletter club, whatever you do. Because I said, hey, I'm spread kind of thin. Is there anything that you really don't want me closing? And I ask all my customers this, and I got over and over and over again from people, please don't close the newsletter club. Please don't close the newsletter club. So this is the newsletter club, $47 a month. And it gives people a PLR license on a package of emails every month. And they don't want me to close it, even though the data is telling me, hey, the PLR industry is in decline. It doesn't make sense why it would continue to thrive, right? That's what the data tells me. And yet my email list is telling me they still want it. So now I have this conflicting data. All right. So the data is not doing a good job at helping me make a decision in this case, right? And that's fine. That's one of the two factors that I use to make decisions. One of the two factors, data. Okay. The other factor is my gut. What does my gut tell me? Okay. My gut tells me that with PLR, I am creating something that's different than what people can get from AI. I am creating something that's different than what people can get with AI, but my business has become a more of a boutique business when it comes to PLR. This is now it's not just let me create it for you because it'll be faster, it will be easier for you, you'll reduce the learning curve. It's not that anymore. Now it's hey, um, this is human written. Hey, this is better than AI. Hey, this is the genuine article, right? So the way it's positioned is different, right? And it's more of like this boutique business. So it's something different than what I started. When I started the newsletter club, it was never meant to be a boutique business, right? The positioning was different than it is now. When I first started it, it was about a service, right? It was a service to people. I am providing this very utilitarian service for you. I'm creating content so you don't have to, and I'm licensing it to you. That's utilitarian. Okay. Well, with the boutique business, it's not about utilitarian as much. Now it's about specialty. It's about specialty, not utilitarian. So that's not really the business I started. It's the business I found myself in because technology changed. Okay. So how does that come back to gut? Right? Well, Newsletter Club is one of those examples where it's going to depend on if I enjoy doing it or not. It's not the business I started. I started the Newsletter Club as a utilitarian business, right? It was meant to serve a purpose for people. Now it's serving kind of a different purpose. It's serving the purpose of, specialty. It's a novelty. Now it's more of a novelty to have a human write your emails for you instead of just having AI write the emails for you. It's more of a novelty. So something different. It's more of a specialty and less of a utilitarian, not the business I started. So I have to ask myself, do I enjoy doing it? Because my friends, here's the thing. If you enjoy doing something, right, you can usually find a way to make money with it. Right. And I don't care if it's playing video games or, painting pictures or, writing emails like me. Like I like to write emails. Now, as long as I like to write emails, as long as I'm enjoying it, as long as I enjoy having a newsletter club, I can make money with it. All right. Now, the reason I say this is because, and this is something a lot of people don't really, really get. But the reason I say this is because, there's a lot of things that you can compensate for in this world. There's a lot of different ways that you can compensate for your weaknesses. But one thing that's really hard to compensate for is like actual interest that you have in something, actual passion. You wouldn't believe how many people go through this life and they have no passion for anything. Man, they are flat, okay? They don't have a passion for anything that they do. So if you happen to have a passion for something, right? If you happen to have an interest, if you happen to have a heart in something, right? What I'm telling you is, man, that is an asset that is almost impossible to replace. Genuine interest is what I'm talking about. Genuine interest in a subject. If you have that, it's almost impossible to replace. So do not be so quick to disregard a business or a project or anything else that you're working on just because the numbers don't look right for you. If you have a genuine interest in that subject, okay, it's probably worth pursuing for you. Because I guarantee you, if you love something, you can find a way to make it profitable. So anyways, I had another example for you, but I could give you lots of examples. It doesn't really matter. The bottom line is, why do I only, follow the data half the time? Because the other half of the time I'm following my gut. And that usually has to do with, what my genuine interest is in. You see, I like writing emails for people. I like the newsletter club, right? So that means that I'll continue to write the emails and I will find a way to make it profitable. And I'll continue to do that until I don't enjoy doing it anymore. When it becomes just the grind, when it becomes just something I have to do, when it becomes just another job I created for myself, then it'll be time to wrap it up, right? But until then, I'm going to keep on doing it because I make decisions based off two factors, not just one. I don't just follow the data blindly. Sometimes I got to pull rank on the data, and I got to go with my gut. And I got to tell you, generally, I go with my gut regardless of what the data says. Now, do I want to be stupid? Am I telling you to be stupid about data? No. I think it's important for you to know where you stand in this world. And it's most definitely important for you to know where you stand in business. Okay. But as far as always blindly following the data. Oh, well, the data says I should make a video about this. Oh, the data says I should make a video about that. Oh, well, this was the most popular video, or this was my highest selling product over the last 6 months. I guess I should make another product about that, right? As far as doing that just blindly because the data tells you to, I don't think that's a very good way to run your business. I don't think. That's just me personally. Um, and that has a lot to do with the fact that, we only got so long to be on this planet, and if I'm going to work for myself, I might as well do the things I want to do, not just the things I have to do because I'm a slave to the data. I mean, if I wanted to be a slave to something, I should have just kept on working for somebody else. That's my opinion. Hey, listen, if you like my takes, if you like my opinions, drop me a like, leave me a comment down there. Let me know you're alive out there. Be sure to follow me. I'm at epicconversions.com. Get signed up for my email list so you can see what I have to offer. And I will see you in the next episode of The Mighty Few. Peace now.